Good evening, Burlington City and County government officials. I am OMalley, your Regional Emergency Coordinator. This quick brief is to update you on the continued threat of our current winter storm, the important changes in the situation, and what steps to take to mitigate the risk. Since the last briefing, the freezing rain has stopped, but it is reported that upwards of 8 inches of ice has accumulated in many places around Burlington. The National Weather Service states that over the next few days, the temperature will hover between 28 and 34 degrees. While this won't directly assist with melting the ice that we currently have, it is perfect conditions for the salt, sand, and gravel that the Department of Transportation are applying to the roads to have optimum effects. Unfortunately, it appears that this weather will be short-lived, as the National Weather Service is predicting that the temperatures a week from now will drop down into the mid-teens, further complicating our recovery efforts. The governor's call for federal assistance to help with the recovery efforts and to help reach our stranded citizens has succeeded, as the federal government has declared a state of emergency for Vermont. Because of this, FEMA is in the process of organizing funds and resources to assist. This couldn't happen at a better time, as funds for snow plowing and the procurement of additional resources such as salt and other braces for the roads are in short supply. I will be working closely with Albert Lewis, the federal coordinating officer, to ensure that your priorities of resources and funding are met as soon as possible. At the same time, we need to continue reaching out to our neighboring states for their assistance, as well as fully utilizing our NGOs. I will be assisting with this as I work with FEMA and the surrounding states to develop an emergency mutual assistance agreement that will help to consolidate necessary resources to help in this state of emergency. To facilitate this, I recommend that you continue to develop and refine your plan on what resources, such as power generation and heavy-duty vehicles, that you may need from the National Guard, surrounding states, and NGOs. In addition to this, an expedited timeline of when you would like to utilize them, considering the colder weather moving in and the negative impact of the capabilities this will have. Currently, the schools and airports remain closed, continuing to trap close to 100 personnel at the airport. This will continue as a majority of the roads within the state are closed and will remain so until the Department of Transportation has a chance to improve the safety of the roads. I continue to advise that the travel restrictions remain in effect for all personnel except for essential personnel and for emergency situations only. We cannot have our resources depleted further trying to deal with citizens that get themselves into trouble trying to travel in these unsafe conditions. This storm and the aftermath is not something that any of us are used to. Because of this, we need to ensure that we maintain our composure and help the general population remain calm to prevent any further harm. Part of this is constant communication with our first responders and plow personnel to let them know how important they are to the safety of the people of this state. Ease their fears about their pay as much as possible and keep them focused on the task at hand. They must understand the importance of the 12-hour emergency schedule and what will happen if they deviate from it at this point. Continue to improve the Emergency Operations Center to continue developing a common operating picture of the developing situation and ensure that we can maintain it as recovery efforts continue. We need to continue to develop, resource, and bring stranded citizens to the shelters that have been established for them. The primary focus up to this point has been within the city. We need to start to pull in the citizens from the rural areas, as they will be without power and supplies the longest. Getting the 911 infrastructure back up and running is still the top priority. This will be exceedingly difficult with the power infrastructure down. Continue to work on alternatives for the citizens to reach the authorities when an emergency takes place. The buildings within your area have a lot of strain on them due to the ice. Roofs might begin to collapse, and we need to ensure that if they do, the citizens can reach out for assistance. First responders need to continue to focus their attention on locations where personnel are most at risk, such as the nursing homes and the hospitals and the rural areas. At the same time, the first responders need to be able to facilitate in any way helping the utility companies continue to develop a plan of action to start restoring power and ultimately to get power back to those that need it most. Belco has assessed there to be several miles of power lines on the ground and several critical parts that have been damaged. They currently have 100% of their available personnel working around the clock to fix the power grid, but they don't have the necessary personnel numbers or the equipment necessary to keep up with the demand. They're also having extreme difficulties acquiring the replacement parts that they need to fix the power grid, but they have contacted companies around the country to assist. The hope is that FEMA and their resources will be able to make a difference. That being said, they will still require a lot of assistance from you to make this happen. They can't effectively reach the down power lines without proper plow support. You must ensure that you are giving them the necessary support to reach the areas that they need to access. Without your assistance, they can't complete their work, which will endanger more lives. Ensure you are integrated in all that they do to ensure as quick as possible recovery. We must continue to update our press release with the pertinent information that the citizens must know to keep themselves safe and calm their fears. A lack of information will breed fear and encourage dangerous behavior. This message first and foremost needs to continue to stress the importance of staying put where they are unless it is an emergency. Let the citizens know that we are doing everything we can to make the road safe again and to restore power. Notify them that FEMA has now gotten involved, but it won't fix everything overnight. We still have to worry about the hazardous conditions on the roadways. Let the citizens know that the first priority for roads is in the urban areas, and that the shelters will continue to be established in the rural areas to assist them. Remind them that injuries can and will be compounded by the fact that first responders will have a difficult time getting to them to provide aid and subsequently to the hospital for treatment, so they must be patient and let the plows get to them. We must also continue to push the dangers of using alternative heating sources and the steps that need to be taken to make it safe. The risk of roofs collapsing due to the weight of ice is ever present. We need to ensure that the citizens understand this and take steps to either remove ice safely themselves or move to a shelter with a greater pitched roof where the ice would naturally fall off of. With your continued help and the proper coordination with FEMA, we should all safely make it through the recovery from this winter storm.